everyone today to the session of the program Self-Love and Light. Today we are going to share with Ciiku, Shiro, Maggie, Marie-Claire and Shamsa how we are dealing with the pandemic and the restrictions in different countries and how these have changed our lives. Basically, we are very curious to know if you are doing okay, and we will also be like to confront the different situations, and if some of us is facing any difficulties, we are also here to support. Always remember that For Wings is a safe, non-judgmental environment, and we are all here ready to listen and share. So it will be a spontaneous discussion where all of us will share. And who of you would like to first share with the other panelists how you guys are doing in this period? About the lockdown and about how it's affecting your life, your mental well-being. Maybe Shiro wants to start.
In Kenya, most of the restrictions have been lifted because it looks like the curve is flattening, if we are to believe the statistics. But what I've been doing is I am doing something in solidarity with Ciiku, because she has this project or personal project of running 5 kilometers every day. So I decided I'll also try to do the same in solidarity. I can't run for that long. I know I'm a Kenyan and I should be able to run, but I live in a very hilly place. So I walk more uphill and then I jog downhill, but I try to do 5 kilometers, and that's really nice for my emotional and physical well-being.
Well, we all agree that sport is very important, and it's remarkable. So this is a demonstration that age is not important. At every age we can do difference. Do you think that sport is helping you with your mental well-being?
Oh yes, because in the first place, even from before, I love the outdoors and I love hiking. But now I'm trying to add a little bit of running to it. First of all, it helps me with my blood pressure, controlling my blood pressure. It also helps, of course, physically with maintaining a good weight, and emotionally also. When you come back from a hike or for a run, you feel so refreshed and you feel you've achieved something, especially in this lockdown where you feel like you're forced to stay in.
And sometimes it can be really hard. Also, contact with nature, it's very useful. Shiro, we are happy to listen that you are doing okay, and thanks very much for sharing. So overall, you are okay? Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. What about the others panelists? Who is be willing to share how you guys are doing and the situation in your countries? Because don't forget that this is always an international and intercultural atmosphere in the panel.
I'll go next just because Shiro has referred to me and doing the exercise in solidarity with me. So, I mean, everything that happens to us has a positive side to it, even though it can be negative or it can seem negative. There's always something good or some positive aspect you can get from it, whether that's making you more resilient or helping you learn how to cope better with things. So because of lockdown, I find that it's allowed me to slow down a bit and go walking. So you remember throughout I told you I used to go walking a lot, and I've discovered a lot of Liverpool. But of course, sometimes when you go up, you come down again. So I kind of got out of that for a couple of weeks. Then I decided I was going to join this program called Couch to 5K. So it builds you up to be able to go from not running to actually running 5 kilometers. So that's what I've been doing over the last, I'm on week 5 now. and I really feel good. I'm not doing it. I didn't do it to lose weight. I did it to be fitter. I just wanted to feel more fit. But because I'm doing it, then you start thinking, I don't want to work that hard and then just fill my body with rubbish. So it subconsciously makes you start thinking of what you're eating as well. So I know it's been very tough with the pandemic, but I'm also happy that it's got me to start doing things outdoors more and seeing nature and looking after my fitness.
Oh, thank you very much for sharing, Ciiku. In this period, it's been an emotional roller coaster because being stuck at home was not easy. How is the situation, by the way, before we move on, Shiro and Ciiku? So in Kenya and in the UK, about restrictions. Are schools open or public spaces open, or are they still closed in order to protect the contagious?
In Kenya, the restrictions have been lifted mostly, and most places are open, but there's a curfew of, I think, 11 o'clock or something like that. But generally, everything is open except the schools, because of course, if you know, in Africa, most schools have crowded classes, so they need to ensure they can have social distancing in most, especially the public schools. They need to increase the number of classes and desks so that they can have social distancing in school before they allow the children to go back to school. So children have been out of school since March, which is actually quite a long
time. And in Kenya, it's in Kenya. In the UK, kids are back to school. Yeah. And I read the other day that actually the highest rates of transmission or infecting others has been in educational settings, so schools and universities. So it doesn't make sense. Anyway, so schools are back on, and just lately we were imposed on a curfew. We were directed to have a curfew of 10 o'clock for social, like restaurants and pubs. And then there's a restriction to families from different households mixing. So families from different households cannot mix unless they are outdoors, and people cannot meet in groups of more than 6. So those are the new restrictions. And apparently in the Northwest, actually Liverpool, we're top 2 of one of the worst cases in the UK. So they're thinking of putting some more firmer restrictions for us. So it's a bit tough now, and obviously it's worrying when you're thinking you're in a city where the rates are very high. So you just try to be more careful. So that's where we are now.
So at the start it was quite stressful, and it was unbelievable what's going on, and it was not normal definitely for everyone. But then as time passed, we started used to it. But before that I used to go to gym for 3 days, and Shepherd, my daughter, she used to go to gym with me as well, but she used to do trampoline a session in one session in a week. And it was good, like you can distract your mind, and it's healthy for kids to for their health and for their mind. But suddenly everything stopped, and we were confined in our houses, and we couldn't go out. We need to isolate ourselves if we got any symptoms and these, like. And then Ciiku suggested that you should go to park for walk, so you can distract your mind a bit and get go to near the nature and get some fresh air and everything. Then I used to go to the park for walk, and then school opened uh, last month, and then we thought that everything is going to normal.
Yeah.
Then but there was a fear as well that Corona was not over. It was still there. In fact, it's still here, and it's increasing day by day and spiking. So then I started walk again in the park when Shepherd used to go to school, and I started go for walk and started my routine a bit. Then now last week, suddenly I got an email that someone got corona positive in a class, and she needs to isolate herself for 14 days because her bubble needs to stay home. Now she is at home, and she will start getting online classes from Monday. So it's quite stressful for me now. Other day I went to town, and town was all empty, and shops were all empty. Nobody was there. And when I came back home, I was like, what's going on? I was not happy with that everything is empty, and uh, there is no sign of life. I was very stressful. And it's very hard when you can't visit your family. You can't mix with other household. Now there is still new restriction is in Liverpool that you can't mix with other household as well. So it's very hard to manage, when you can't meet to your friend, your family. You can't spend time with them. And especially for people like us, everyone is here like I'm not talking about people who are staying in their own country, but when we are in other countries, we are already feeling some isolation or some type of these things, and it's really very hard, especially in this condition. You even can't meet your friends as well, so it's very very hard.
Very heartbreaking to listen that you were not feeling okay, and we can understand you, and we can feel solidarity for you, and also a virtual hug to your daughter as well.
Oh, thank you.
I personally wish to you, your daughter, your family, and also your friends that the social distance with even with a mask, but they will be possible as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Someone, yeah, now, or Maggie, Marie Claire, you can also go and share if you want.
Yeah, so I will go. I'll go next if Maggie doesn't mind.
Yeah, mine.
Uh, yeah, so I will start with how I've been dealing with the pandemic. I think, like everyone said, you have days where you're okay and some days where you're not, obviously, because you feel like, when is this going to end? However, there's it's not going anywhere. It is something we have to learn to live with it. And the best for me to do to cope well with it is just being busy. And obviously with delivering some of the Fowings project always keeps me busy. And now that the unit's back on, and also I'm very busy, but that doesn't mean that I don't have days where my mental well-being is just, I'm not myself. Because if you've been used to being active, going out, and now you can with online learning and everything is online, it's just like you walking on time. And it's the same thing every day. But I'm grateful because that those most of people who don't even have things to do, and I would like to think there even was. So lately, physically, I haven't done much because of certain reasons, and hopefully I'm going to go back to my doing some workouts soon in a week. Yeah, so that's how I'm coping. And also I've always been trying to concentrate on positive side of life rather than actually concentrating on negatives, and that helps as well. So the second question is what the adjustment I made. I haven't done made. I've just much. I've just I'm busy. Uni. The kids are back to school. You know, working from home. So I'm already spending days at home. Most of days at home. So I think Ciiku mentioned, obviously, because I live in the same city as Ciiku mentioned about the restriction in our area, which is needed. I've, for the first time, actually, I had a social event about 2 weeks ago, and it stressed me. I've never been stressed in my life. It stressed me out when I went out and see how many people are gathering with no masks and nothing. It actually, for that, I really feel like I don't want to go anywhere. So I understand that they need some precautionary measures, really restrictions to kind of try and be able to deal with this the situation in Liverpool. In the shows that so many people are not taking things seriously. If you go out and meet, there is 50 people in one place, no one is wearing a mask. It kind of scares me that some people don't take things seriously. Anyway, so I think we all have to make an effort to be safe and also protect those who are around us if we want to deal with the pandemic as soon as possible.
What will be the first thing that you are going to do after the pandemic? I mean, after the restrictions will be a bit less strict.
Definitely travel. Going somewhere and just be able to relax, because I think traveling is one of the things we're used to really enjoy and relax, but I haven't been able to do it for the whole year for the first time. So it would be nice to meet obviously my friends and sit, have a nice cocktail and catch up, and travel if my commitments allow me to do that. It would be so nice, even if for a weekend somewhere. Yeah.
Hopefully, travel will be possible. And Marie-Claire, on behalf of For Wings, we all wish to you that you can realize your wish also with your family. So this desire to travel, fingers crossed that you will have the chance to visit all the places that in this year you have not had the chance, unfortunately, to visit, and also even more than you expected. And we wish you lots of trips with full of adventures also for your son and
Yeah,
their
I
family.
might call you when I'm in Italy. Who knows?
Yeah, you guys are all invited here, which is safe at the moment. Not 100%, but
Yeah, or in Kenya, which is a beautiful country as well.
yeah, Kenya too. Talking about Kenya, Maggie, you are the last panelist that is willing to share how you are coping with this new restriction and all the news in your life. We hope that, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Health-wise, I'm okay. I would say that. I thank God for that. And I can admit this, when the news about this pandemic came in Kenya, the first case, which was in March, and then the president announced the lockdown, I think I was a bit confused. I got stuck in my mind because I wasn't sure what is going to happen. The uncertainty was there. Even what I loved to do then, before then, I forgot. But thank God, as from August, I think, when our cases started going down and people started getting used to the pandemic, actually it is not gone completely. It's only that people have gotten used to the pandemic. So I went back to what I loved to do. And thanks to Shiro have even made me discover myself. There are things I didn't know about my personality. But Shiro has been sending me some articles, and those articles made me discover myself. And I saw myself in those articles. And as I read the articles, and I love to write. I love to write so much. There are some sites which have helped me to learn how to write, because I send them articles. If it has a problem, they send them back. They teach me how to correct my grammar and so many things. So the articles that Shiro have been sending me, I've been thinking that I can use that information with a few research that I do, and also do my own articles using those information. And I know the pandemic is still there. I don't mind so much what people are saying. It's about what I think and what is right for me, because in Kenya now I think it has been relaxed a bit. Now the curfew starts at 11 to 5 in the morning. So bars are open, hotels are open up to that time. And the people who brought that one is the politicians, because they were like preaching wine and drinking water at the same time. Because they say the people need to have social distance, but they call people for those gatherings, their meetings, and there were no social distance there. So people could see that. People learn from what they see. So that made people in Kenya became wild, and they wanted the government to uplift the lockdown, which was done, which was at least they relaxed some rules. But we're still under lockdown for the next 60 days, 2 months. The schools were to open in, I think, October, but now again, they've changed. It's not going to open. It's only the universities which are going to open on 5th of this month. And maybe colleges, because they think those people can handle the social distancing issue. So maybe when the lockdown, when the things come better, because I don't know whether Corona will go away anywhere soon. But when it comes better, I think I'll start doing the outdoor, maybe walking a bit, because that is what I've not been doing. I'm somebody who likes to sit in the house, but now with the lockdown, it even made me worse, because I don't think of going outside. I even fear, because most of the time you go outside, you take public transport, and in public transport, what you can encounter there. So I'm a little bit scared. I think if things get a little bit better, I'll try going out, and maybe trying to get fit, because that is what I know I'll need. But as for now, I thank myself. Sometimes I give myself pats at the back, because I'm able to write some articles and even posted them, which is something I've done. Because if it were not of staying in the house and this pandemic, I don't think if I would have done the so many that I've done. So that is how I've looked at this pandemic issue, as positively, but with negative. The negatives are not so much, but they are there because you can't socialize the way you used to. I would have liked to go to Nairobi to see Shiro, but I'm still scared of traveling. But I think if it gets down a bit or better a bit, I'll be able to go to travel. So that's how it has been.
Thank you very much for sharing, Maggie. And I see that Ciiku wants to comment what you as panelists has just shared with us.
I just wanted actually to comment what Maggie said, because whether you're in the UK, the US, or in Kenya, people follow their leaders. And if you see their leaders saying one thing and doing another, they're not happy, and then they think, what's the point? I'm also not going to follow rules. And we've had a situation like that as well in the UK, where a very prominent member of the government was seen when we were on actual lockdown, not just restrictions, but lockdown. He was seen more than an hour from his home, going around with his family when we were not meant to travel outside our local area. And then there's some who've been seen without masks, others have been seen mixing with more than 6 people. So I think in the end, people feel frustrated and they think, if you as our leaders are not leading by example, then we don't want you to put restrictions on us. So it's just funny. Maggie has said that, and you realize actually that's happening in the UK as well. We know in the US it's also happening. There's a leader there who couldn't care less about masks or whatever, and then the public just follow. Then they think, why should I wear a mask? Our leader doesn't think it's important. So it just shows you how, if you're in a leadership position, it's very important to lead by example, because people are looking at you and seeing how you're handling things, and then follow. So Maggie, that's very funny that you said that people in Kenya complained and said no more restrictions because their own leaders are not following them.
I want to add one more example, Ciiku. Last week, a member of parliament from Scotland, she caught from Scotland to London while she got positive test of corona, and she was traveling, and that's really very bad. And she just said sorry, and she said, I'm feeling ashamed that I was traveling to London while getting positive corona test. So it's natural when people are not wearing, mask or not following the rules.
Yeah,
I've seen it as well. I think it's good ready to strip them their current job. If you're doing it, that you shouldn't be a leader.
exactly. Because it's putting people, members of public who you're meant to be working for, at risk. When you're going on public transport and traveling several hours while positive with COVID, it's a very irresponsible thing to do. So yeah, I mean, we obviously on this panel as individuals, we're going to do our part, but you can understand why people feel frustrated with the double standards, if they're there.
Yeah, in fact, it was not the main focus of this conversation because we wanted to know how you were feeling mostly. But it's true, we all have to play our role, and so this is not off topic, to remind to all of us that it's important whenever we are to respect social distancing and to keep patient. And also our politicians must give the examples, because also mass media are, before they play the crucial role in implementing the fear, the spread of fear. And if a politician makes a mistake, also the social media spread the message. And so the more people see this wrong behavior, there is the higher risk that they will imitate it. And we want to avoid, because we want all to be healthy. We wish that not anymore plenty of people lose their lives. And so it's important to collaborate. And before I also would like, even if I'm facilitating, to briefly share how I'm feeling, if I can, and it may be interesting. Since March, I have, how many months? March, April, May, June, July, August. 7 months. A bit better. The first 3 months were horrible because for 3 months in Italy, in my country, and now I'm also answering to the point number 3, that is what's current status in our respective countries. It was 100% lockdown, except for supermarkets, pharmacy, and some industrial firms that produce material which are necessary for pharmacies and hospitals. Apart from these sectors, no one, so I completely understand what Shamsa was saying before, desert, complete desert. So till June, and we have never had for 10 years in a row an Easter so sunny, hot weather. This year that everyone was in houses, there was sun, 40 degrees, and we were all in our houses. We couldn't even go out. So it has been really, really negative. Now that is September, luckily most of the schools have opened and they are also preparing themselves in case a second lockdown happens. We don't want it, but they are already prepared themselves. And about my university, I will start tomorrow. In Italy, universities are going to open by doing a blended solution. So basically, the teachers will have the lessons in university with physical students there, but with a limited number of people that can book themselves through an app. And the teacher will, on same time, have the online lesson. So in this way, there are still the people that want to follow the teacher in presence, and the others that don't want to put themselves at risk by taking public transportations in order to reach the university. So in this way, some are happy and some as well. And we were in June reaching almost 0 cases, but we needed economy, we needed tourism again, and so we opened the borders, and so now we have a bit of spread of coronavirus again, but the situation is under control. After all the sacrifices, I've never seen my country so united because we have inner division, so we don't feel to belong to the same country. Sometimes people from north and people from southern Italy, but during the period of lockdown, I've never seen such a collaboration. So for this time, I'm very proud of how my country has coped with it. And also in the UN, they have spoken about Italian behavior and how the prime minister ran the situation. He was stronger than corruption, stronger than mafia, so I'm very proud.
And I don't know if I missed, but I didn't hear you saying if you started any new habits because of the lockdown, or some new hobbies or activities.
Well, as you, sport, and I have started rowing. I have always wanted to do a sport with the sea because I have the sea like 200 meters, but in my life I've never done it. And so I've discovered this sport, and I also have made my first tattoo for this sport here. It's the Olympic symbol of rowing because it helped my mental well-being. Apart from for wings, of course, that helped my mind, and the rowing helped my body. And we are never happy if one of these two parts is not feeling well. But before we finish talking about sports, we would like to remind we only have 3 days. The deadline is 7 October to donate the crowdfunding of Zumba in Familia, the project for Wings. The objective is to reach £2,520. We only have 3 days, so for all the people that will watch this video, please donate and spread the message. Now, for now, we only have £180, so we are still missing more than £2,000. We need your support because For Wings doesn't stop. Also with pandemic, if fingers crossed, even if it doesn't happen out, in case of a second lockdown, For Wings will keep you company by doing sport. And all of us have talked, even if we are from different countries, about the importance of sport. For example, Marie Claire, Zumba, Shiro, Maggie, and Ciiku talk about walking. Shams also another sport. Sport in general is important, and we don't need to be professional, just to spend time in company, to move, to stay fit, and to eat well. So let's give our contribution and let's keep each other update. And thanks all of you panelists who have shared that you are coping well, and we wish you also to stay even better.